This is A to Z with Mark Zinno, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, and it starts now.
Good afternoon. Welcome to A to Z here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, where today I tell you it's not just an issue for one of Atlanta teams. Welcome in. We are live here on this Tuesday. Welcome back. Hope everybody had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, got a chance to spend some time outside in the beautiful weather, got to enjoy some loved ones, and of course, hope you took a moment to pay your respects to our fallen heroes and service members all across America and their families throughout history. So all that out of the way. Again, welcome back. It's great to be with you guys. Give us a follow on Twitter at LockedOnATL. Of course, you can follow me at Mark Zinno, MarkZinno. And Aaron Freeman, Locked On Falcons, will join us. We'll get an update from him on where things are as we start to get into the OTA season. Of course, the Braves continuing to struggle. Shovels of wisdom all coming up. We'll get to that here today on this Tuesday. But, you know, I wanted to start with a column that I saw Friday afternoon in The Athletic by Josh Kendall, who's the beat writer for the Falcons for The Athletic. And I thought it was interesting because it's a topic that we've talked about a lot with the Atlanta Braves. It's a topic that I've talked about a lot here on this show since the beginning of this season. And it's starting to manifest itself with the Braves, and we're seeing it now. And part of the struggles and where they are and how they're going to get out of it has all been attributed, or I shouldn't say all, part of it has been attributed to one thing: leadership, right? We keep asking about where's Freddie? Where's Freddie Freeman? Where's Freddie in all this? And so, you know, I think that that's a fair question. I think it is a fair question of who's the guy in the clubhouse. Remember that whole story from Jeff Francoeur, the Braves TV broadcaster, and Jeff Schultz of The Athletic, who wrote maybe they need an a-hole. Remember that whole deal? They need somebody in the clubhouse going to energize them. Well, the Falcons had their OTAs last Thursday. We talked a little bit about it on Friday. D-Led came on the show. And one of the things that was brought up here or at least by Josh Kendall, was the fact that without Matt Ryan at OTAs and at camp, you know, it's different. And that's understandable, right? Like when you have a guy who's here for 14 years and he's the one constant. Matt Ryan has now been here for 3 coaches. He's been here for 2 GMs. He's been here for a whole bunch of changes. And he's been the one constant. So now there's something different here. And whereas with the Braves, we say, well, who's the leader? Who's the leader? Who's the leader? And we're questioning it. With the Falcons, you're saying who's the leader, and you're sort of waiting to figure out who that is in more of a positive way. But I will say this much. I think Matt Ryan not being here is actually a good thing for the Falcons. When Arthur Smith was given the reins of this team and he was set to put his own stamp on things, you know, we talk so much about culture and the culture that Arthur Smith is trying to create around here. And it's not that Matt Ryan couldn't buy into that culture or couldn't be part of it, but Matt Ryan created his own culture that you are never going to get rid of, that you are never going to change. You're never going to undercut your starting quarterback. You know what happens when you do that? You lose your starting quarterback. See the Cleveland Browns and Baker Mayfield. So Matt was always going to have his stamp on things. And I'm not saying it's a bad stamp. What I am saying here is that for Arthur Smith, a guy who wants to change the entire culture of this team, it is not easy to do when you have previous cultures and players from previous cultures still doing things a different way or doing things their way because that's what they've always done for 14 years. This is a blessing that Matt Ryan isn't here on several accounts. And again, I will reiterate, this is not about Matt Ryan's play or his ability as a quarterback. This is about culture. This is about changing this organization. This is about getting a different face on this thing and starting fresh. You don't get into a new relationship and leave pictures up of your old girlfriend. It's a bad idea. You don't get married and still hang out with your ex-wife on a routine basis if you don't have kids together. I mean, you know, if you have kids together, it's different, but you get the point. Like, you don't just keep things from the past around. You turn the page, you start new. And that's where things, I think, for the Falcons can get better with new leadership overall, new on the field leadership. Now, again, there's not like a clear individual who's going to do this, right? There's not a leader. And I know we talk about Marcus Mariota and what he can do and how much he is, a guy that may be able to take over the reins and whatever. I don't even know who it is and who's it going to be. I think that there is a certain amount of let's figure this out. Let's see what cream rises to the top. Let's see if there's anybody who provides any sort of leadership spark for this team. And I wouldn't even rule out some of the rookies. Maybe Arnold Ebiketie is a guy that brings that leadership quotient to this team that they were missing, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Maybe Kyle Pitts steps up. Maybe we start to see the quiet kid all of a sudden start to get a little bit, find his own voice a little bit and start to be a little bit more of a leader. Julio was never a rah-rah guy, but you knew he was a leader. People in the clubhouse followed him. Clubhouse, locker room. Sorry, get my sports confused. So whoever steps up, and somebody will, and if nobody does, guess what? You keep searching for that guy. And the good thing here, and here's the difference between the Falcons and the Braves and the leadership void. The leadership void with the Falcons, okay, if it doesn't get filled, that's okay because you still have time to look for it and there are no expectations. With the Braves, you're running out of time and there are massive expectations. So that pressure gets felt by everybody. In a situation like the Falcons, you can sort of spread that whole thing around. You can sort of spread that whole sort of pressure to everybody of who's going to be the leader and share the load. And sometimes that makes a team come together better. Sometimes they coalesce better because everybody is carrying a little bit of the load and it's not all just on one person. I have been positively pumping up Arthur Smith as a coach, and I'm excited to get out to camp finally again and see him and talk with him and get a chance to sort of get a more of a feel for where his head is. I had a really good relationship with Dan Quinn while he was here, and we got a chance to chat a little bit away from football, and you get a little bit more of a sense of who he is and things of that nature. And I hope to develop that with Arthur Smith, but the sense that I get now just from afar is that he's all business and he makes clear expectations and he's not afraid to tell you what he thinks and be the leader that you need him to be. A lot of guys sometimes when they first get in, they want players to like them. They want first head coaching job. They want to make an impact. And there's a lot of different ways they go about doing that. I get a sense that Arthur Smith just puts his head down and goes to work every day, which is something that, would be contrary to what you'd think, being the fact that he is the son of the guy who, created FedEx. So we'll see how that all comes to pass and all shakes out once the season starts. And these OTAs should start to tell you a lot. All right, coming up next, more on the Falcons and Aaron Freeman. He will join us. Plus, how nervous are you about the Braves? I'm getting there. That's coming up here on A to Z on Locked On Sports Atlanta, free on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you search Locked On Sports Atlanta.